Marvin Vettori has some ideas about how the UFC middleweight title picture should be changed. The UFC fighter who was born in Italy will be fighting Roman Dolidze soon. He wants to get back on track after losing to former champion Robert Whittaker. Whittaker was supposed to fight Paulo Costa, but the fight doesn't look like it's going to happen. Should the Reaper get a chance to fight Alex Pereira for the title? Marvin Vettori talked to the Schmo and gave him an answer. Marvin Vettori claims Alex Pereira will beat Israel Adesanya in a rematch if fierce rivals meet again, but backs Robert Whittaker to have edge over fearsome Brazilian champion. Alex Pereira is kryptonite for Israel Adesanya and would beat him in a rematch, claims fellow middleweight Marvin Vettori. The Italian Dream, who has lost twice to Adesanya, thinks that the Brazilian champion knows how to beat the style bender. At UFC 281, Poatan beat the champion who had been in charge for a long time. He was behind on the scorecards at the time, but in the fifth and final round, he landed some knockout blows. Pereira hit Adesanya hard enough that the referee had to step in and stop the fight. This ended Adesanya's reign as champion. Vettori told the Schmo, no, if he fights Izzy Adesanya again, he'll beat Izzy again. I'm not sure. I feel like he set out to beat him, but now he doesn't even care. I mean, of course he cares about money because everyone does, but he knows it's dangerous to fight anyone who is good at grappling. But I don't mind him. I like him. If I have the chance to fight him, I would definitely do it. Vettori's last fight was against Robert Whittaker. Whittaker was supposed to fight Paulo Costa, but the Brazilian and the UFC couldn't come to an agreement on terms. Vettori's experience with both Adesanya and Whittaker gives the Reaper a better chance of dethroning the new champion when the time comes. He went on to say, he's beating a lot of people, including me, in the last fight. The guy is solid. I also think he should have a shot at the title. I'm not sure. He went on to say, I think Whittaker can beat Pereira because he's a smart fighter and can grapple a little bit. Vettori's next fight will be on March 18th at UFC London, which is the main event. He is fighting rising star Roman Dolidze and will try to make a statement at the O2 Arena to strengthen his case for a shot at the belt. However, UFC middleweight details why Alex Pereira is more beatable than Israel Adesanya. The UFC middleweight division might have a new champion, but one fighter in the division thinks the current champion isn't the toughest fight out there. After Alex Pereira took the belt from Israel Adesanya in November with a TKO in the 5th round at UFC 281, many fighters and experts said they thought the Brazilian was only champion because he was matched up with opponents whose styles suited him. Punahele Soriano, who is set to fight Roman Kopylov at UFC Fight Night 217 on January 14th at the UFC Apex in Las Vegas and will be streamed on ESPN+, thinks that Pereira 7-1 MMA 4-0 UFC is a better matchup for many 185-pound fighters than Adesanya 23-2 MMA 12-2 UFC, despite the fact that they have already fought each other and both won. Soriano told MMA Junkie, I still think Izzy is a much harder opponent than Alex. When Izzy held him down on the ground, I thought that made it easier for him to win the fight. But he also has the option to use nuclear weapons, which is very scary. Still, I think Izzy is a much tougher opponent than Alex, and no harm meant. I don't want Alex to get mad at me for some reason and beat me up on the street. Soriano made it clear that he doesn't mean to treat Pereira badly. The man who has been in the octagon 5 times knows that he is not even close to being in the running for the title, so you shouldn't put too much stock in what he says. Soriano is 9-2 in MMA and 3-2 in UFC, but that doesn't mean he isn't trying to get there. He wants to start a promising 2023 season against Kopylov, 9-2 MMA, 1-2 UFC, and will be looking for a highlight reel win. Soriano said, I've always kind of wondered if I just keep winning in a big way. I don't care what anyone says. What if I keep winning spectacularly? From the Dolce Lungiambula fight to this fight to whatever comes next. I'm not sure. We'll see how things go. That's my goal, to win the next one in a really big way. Well, 2023 will be a huge year for the UFC Down Under. Fans of UFC in Australia can't have been disappointed with the last year's action-packed fights, and 2023 looks to be an even bigger year for the country. There is a lot to look forward to with the UFC coming back to Australia in February. Alexander Volkanovski trying to become a double champion, and some of the most exciting fighters on the planet coming from Australia, starting with Alexander Volkanovski and UFC Perth. The man from Wollongong is excited about his fight with Islam Makhachev and has stated that 2023 will be a defining year for his professional boxing career. He will fight Islam Makhachev. Volkanovski, who has never been defeated in a competition, has performed so admirably at the featherweight level that he has earned the opportunity to compete at both featherweight and lightweight. At UFC 284, which will take place in Perth, he will compete against the Russian. Volkanovski will have to sacrifice a lot of size in order to defeat the Dagestani wrestler, but he has high aspirations of becoming the best and remaining the best pound-for-pound wrestler in the world. Volkanovski said on his YouTube page, "Islam is strong. The Islamic religion will be ready. Be that as it may, I solemnly swear that I will be well prepared. I'll be ready for anything and then some." When I say that 2023 is going to be the most important year of my entire career and my legacy, this is the year that I am referring to because it will set the tone for the following year. The first step, which will be taken in 2023, is to abolish Islam, a significant opportunity to not only perform well, but also rank among the very best. So, you can count on me to be there for that. After that, the Ultimate Fighting Championship, UFC, will make its first trip to Australia since October 2019 for their biggest event of the year. After Volkanovski wins the featherweight division in 2022, he will finally get the opportunity to compete in front of his hometown fans. In addition to that, he will now have a shot at winning the lightweight championship. In addition, fans will be able to watch the fight for the interim featherweight title between Yair Rodriguez and Josh Emmett. A number of other individuals, including Tyson Pedro, Jimmy Crute, Jack Jenkins, and Josh Culibao, will also be competing. Next, Jack Della Maddalena and Robert Whittaker. Every year, it seems like a few new UFC superstars emerge, and right now, no one is more exciting than Jack Della Maddalena from Perth. The welterweight made a statement in his first year in the UFC by knocking out every opponent the organization put in front of him. This earned him the Rookie of the Year award from ESPN. Della Maddalena stopped Pete Rodriguez, Ramazan Emeev, and Danny Roberts in a total of just under 9 minutes. He became known as one of the most dangerous fighters in the promotion. No one knows how high the West Aussie can fly, but he is sure he can beat anyone in his division and can't wait to prove it. When I look at the top 15, I'm sure I belong there. I think I could fight all of them, he told Daily Mail Australia. I feel like I can beat most of them, if not all of them. All I need is the chance. Bobby Knuckles will try for a middleweight title again in 2023. This is because his fight with Paulo Costa at UFC 284 fell through, and his rival Israel Adesanya was finally beaten by Alex Pereira. Whittaker has defeated Vettori, Cannonier, and Gastelum, which demonstrates that he is one of the best fighters in his division. Many experts believe that he would be able to win a fight against Pereira if the two of them faced each other. He was quoted as saying, "I'm going to train like a demon and take my anger out on the next guy." He said, "Whoever they put in front of me in that first quarter, I'll do my job." He was referring to the players on the opposing team. Whittaker claims that the UFC wants to put him back into action in the octagon in March, but a lot will depend on whether or not Adesanya and Pereira will fight each other again. Last Lastly, Tai Tuivasa and talented newcomers. Tuivasa has quickly emerged as one of the most well-liked competitors across the entire organization. He is best known for knocking out his opponents, singing strange songs during walkouts, and drinking beer from other people's shoes. 2022 was a fantastic year overall for the Sydney KO King. However, despite the fact that he was the first UFC fighter to knock down Cyril Gane, it wasn't enough for him to win the fight against the French heavyweight. Fight fans won't be able to avoid seeing Tuivasa on television, even if he ends up losing, and he's still very young for a heavyweight contender. According to what he said to Daily Mail Australia, "The more skilled I become at this sport, the more difficulty others will have when competing against me." Both Jack Jenkins and Shannon Ross are exciting newcomers to the UFC who are looking to make a name for themselves in the year 2023. Both were signed after competing in Dana White's Contender Series, following in the footsteps of other Australians, Jimmy Crute and Jack Della Maddalena, who had previously been through the program. They have earned a reputation for delivering shows that are well received by the audience. For example, Jenkins has not been defeated in competition in the past 4 years and has broken the legs of 3 of the last 5 opponents he has faced. Well, who do you think would win if Adesanya and Pereira meet again? Comment below. Unfortunately, that is all the time we had for today. Thanks for sticking with us till the very end. Make sure to like and subscribe for more amazing videos. Till next time, cheers!